Hi guys, welcome to another audio video in our reading 2 Samuel 5 of the King James Version Bible. And it reads, Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. Also in the past, when Saul was king over us, thou wast he that leddest out and broughtest in Israel. And the Lord said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 30 and 3 years over all Israel and Judah. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither, thinking, David cannot come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. The same is the city of David. And David said on that day, Whosoever getteth up to the gutter, and smiteth the Jebusites, and the lame and the blind, that are hated of David's soul, he shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. So David dwelt in the fort, and called it the city of David. And David built round about from Millo and inward. And David went on and grew great, and the Lord God of hosts was with him. And Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and carpenters, and masons, and they built David an house. And David perceived that the Lord hath established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdoms for his people Israel's sake. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem, after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David. And these be the names of those that were born unto him in Jerusalem: Shammua, and Shabab, and Nathan, and Solomon, Heber also, and Elishua, and Nepheg, and Japhia, and Elishama, and Eliada, and Eliphalet. But when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, all the Philistines came up to seek David, and David heard of it, and went down to the hold. The Philistines also came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up to the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into mine hand? And the Lord said unto David, Go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistines into thine hand. And David came to Baal Perazim, and David smote them there, and said, The Lord hath broken forth upon mine enemies before me, as the breach of waters. Therefore he called the name of the place Baal Perazim. And there they left their images, and David and his men burnt them. And the Philistines came up yet again, and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And when David inquired of the Lord, he said, Thou shalt not go up, but fetch a compass behind them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And let it be, when thou hearest the sound of a going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt bestir thyself. For then shall the Lord go out before thee, and to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did so, as the Lord had commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba until thou came to Jazer. Gazer. Alright, guys. So here we see where David has had other children and he's been anointed king over all of Israel. We see where it was told to the Philistines that David was actually anointed king over all of Israel. So they now became upset. And so they decided that they were going to, because if you recall, David actually resided with them for a while, over a year, with his men. And so we see he's anointed now king over all of Israel. So you can just imagine the anger of the Philistines against him. And so they were here and they were angry. And so they went to wage war against him. But do you realize what David did yet again? David did not rush off into battle. He asked God for guidance. When he first heard of it, he asked God for guidance. And when God allowed David to prevail over the Philistines the first time, they came again yet another time. And again, David inquired of the Lord, "What should I do, Lord?" And the Lord told him exactly what to do and how he will win the battle. Go up in the mulberry trees. Go here. When you hear a noise in the top of the mulberry trees, then you know that I'm going to smite your enemies. Okay? This chapter was pretty straightforward. I didn't think I needed to explain anything, but sometimes I just want to explain. Okay? And dig a little deeper. So here we see where David is actually growing stronger. His family is growing stronger. His lineage is growing stronger, and he's been noticed by other kings of other nations, because we see where a king had actually sent him carpenters and masons to help him in building his new home, the city of David. And that is not of no good that David did, but only because of the presence of God and because God was with him. And let me tell you, that is how God will establish you. If you just count on him, if you just put your trust in him and give him your heart, believe in him wholeheartedly, do everything to glorify him, and he will definitely establish you, as you see he did here with David. Okay, guys, I know it sounds kind of cliche, and it does sound, it seems as if it's just empty words, but it's not. It has been proven time and time again. He will establish you if only you seek him and his righteousness first. Okay? Alright, guys, so I'm gonna leave you right there. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification so you're alerted whenever a new audio video is posted. And guys, please remember to share your thoughts, your comments, and your revelations down below in the comment section. Okay? Remember to keep your salvation, and if you've not yet gained it, then seek it. There's no better time than the present to begin. Okay? Have yourselves a blessed day. Bye.